Jason Tucker was midway through his fourth motivational yell of the morning. Pain is just weakness leaving the body. When the gym roof exploded. It wasn't subtle. It didn't creak, crack, or give polite warning. 1 second he was showing Brenda from HR how to lunge with a kettlebell, the next he was staring into a swirling cosmic vortex that smelled like cinnamon and thunder. A voice boomed across the broken ceiling, "We require the human who calls himself Jay the Ripper." Jason blinked, still holding the squat position. "I go by that on leg day." 3 glowing figures descended, each with enough armor to qualify as a small moon. The tallest one looked like a jellyfish wearing medieval riot gear. The smallest offered Jason what might have been a business card, or a summoning stone. "You have been summoned to the planet Gorgonthar," it said, "to train our queen." Jason scratched his head. "Train, like, cardio? Or are we talking emotional healing and goat yoga? Combat efficiency? Maximum core stability? Emotional suppression through hypertrophy?" Jason grinned. "So, CrossFit." With a flash and a very undignified yelp, he vanished from Earth. He woke up in what looked like a steam-powered jungle gym designed by aliens who'd only seen gyms through action movies and protein powder commercials. Everything pulsed with neon and danger. The dumbbells had spikes. The pull-up bars were suspended over lava. The squat rack growled when he approached it. And then she walked in. 9 feet tall. Skin like molten sapphire. Hair braided in metallic coils. Armor sculpted to scream, "I eat planets for breakfast and floss with meteorites." She carried a battle axe so large it had its own gravitational field. Jason blinked up at her. "You must be Zarkala." She narrowed her glowing yellow eyes. "You will address me as Supreme Sovereign Overlord Zarkala the Ruthless." Jason paused. "Right. Zara it is." She looked like she was deciding whether to incinerate him or disembowel him. "You are small. You're large. You are soft. You're spiky. You smell like fermented disappointment." Jason smiled. "And you smell like cosmic lavender. Look, this could go on forever, or we can just stretch and get into it." She frowned. "Stretch? Yeah. Limber up. Prevents injuries. I do not get injured." Jason tossed her a resistance band. She caught it and crushed it with one hand. "I see. You're more of a free weights girl." She lunged forward. Jason dodged, barely. Her axe hit the floor where his foot had been, melting a crater. "That's fine," he muttered. "We'll start with high knees." Day 1 was chaos. Jason explained burpees, and Zarkala thought he was insulting her royal lineage. She responded by flinging a treadmill across the room. Jason introduced planks, and she lay completely still for 6 minutes while asking him, "When does this become difficult?" He adjusted his baseball cap and muttered, "You remind me of my ex." Except she couldn't throw tanks. Zarkala snarled. "You are mocking me." "I mock everyone. It's cardio for the soul." He handed her a jump rope. She stared at it like it owed her money. "This," he said, "is for agility." "Does it explode?" "Only your pride." She tried it, whipping the rope around with terrifying force. One swing decapitated a practice dummy. The second set the wall on fire. Jason clapped. "Nice form. Maybe go gentler." "I do not go gentler." He sighed. "Okay. Then it's time for something safer. Let's try yoga." "Is that a weapon?" "It's worse. It's introspective." Halfway through the session, while Zarkala was balancing in Warrior 2 with one eye twitching and her axe vibrating from suppressed rage, Jason saw something crack. Not her, he wasn't that hopeful. But there was a tiny flicker. A pause. A breath. "What do you feel?" he asked quietly. I feel nothing. Exactly. That's progress. She snorted. This is weakness. No. This is control. She glared. Control is when the stars scream your name as you end civilizations. Jason tilted his head. Sure. But can those stars hold a plank for 2 minutes? She growled. He added, thought so. By the end of day 1, the gym had 3 new craters, Jason had 2 cracked ribs, he called it motivational bruising, and Zarkala had completed an entire circuit without vaporizing anything. Jason handed her a protein bar. You earned it. She sniffed it. What is this? Peanut butter and creatine. Welcome to Earth cuisine. She took a bite. Her eyes widened slightly. It is tolerable. Jason grinned. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about my snacks. She leaned down until her face was inches from his. If you fail to make me stronger, she whispered, I will mount your bones on my ship as warning to your species. Jason chewed his protein bar thoughtfully. So, progress? She stood and walked off, tossing her axe into the wall where it lodged, still humming with heat. Jason looked at it, then at the stars outside. Just 99 days to go, he whispered. No pressure. Behind him, the pull-up bar growled. He decided to sleep under the bench press, it seemed safer. By day 4, Jason had discovered 3 very important things about Queen Zarkala. 1, she thought, cooldown meant planetary destruction. 2, her sweat was mildly radioactive. 3, she was, without a doubt, the worst treadmill user in the known universe. You run on it, Jason shouted from behind a steel barricade, not through it. Zarkala stared at the crumpled heap of what used to be a state-of-the-art Gorgonthian cardio machine. It defied me. It's a treadmill. It doesn't have opinions. It beeped at me. That's encouragement. I disapproved of its tone. Jason sighed as sparks flew from the wreckage. Okay. No treadmills. Noted. Let's try rowing machines. What is rowing? Simulated paddling. It builds core strength and patience. I conquered the oceans of Tharnak on a basilisk raft during a firestorm. I do not paddle. Then let's relive that moment with low resistance and proper form. Zarkala stepped onto the rowing machine and immediately tried to rip the handles out like a thrown challenge. The machine, with a soft whimper of defeat, ejected itself backwards, knocking over a rack of stability balls. One bounced, hit the wall, ricocheted, and smacked Jason in the face. She raised an eyebrow. Is that part of the training? Jason, now on the floor, gave a thumbs up. Everything's part of the training if you don't cry about it. Later that day, Jason introduced her to jump squats. It did not go well. Bend. Jump. Land softly, he explained. Zarkala obeyed with military precision, bent, leapt, and cratered the floor with enough force to realign a nearby moon's orbit. She stood proud, surrounded by rubble. Jason coughed through the dust. We might want to scale that down from intergalactic leap to earthbound bounce, okay? I cannot scale down. I am Zarkala. Right. Queen of aerobics and destructor of plyo boxes. I accept this title. He tried wall sits next. I see no wall, she growled. That's because you blew it up yesterday. Then this is your error, not mine. On day 6, they ventured into the planetary training dome for her first real-time simulation. The objective was simple, retrieve the flag at the center without engaging the robotic guards. Jason explained it carefully. This is about stealth. Precision. Control. Zarkala nodded thoughtfully, then hurled a plasma grenade through the observation deck window and walked straight into the firestorm. Jason watched from the rubble, sipping a protein shake. Technically, she did get the flag. The dome was now on fire. Again. Zarkala returned, covered in soot and slightly singed triumph. I won. You always win. That's not the point. She paused. There is a point. Jason took a deep breath. The point is to learn restraint. Strategy. The idea that every enemy doesn't need vaporizing. Then why are they enemies? Jason blinked. Wow. That's disturbingly insightful. I need to write that down. She squinted. Was that sarcasm? Yes. Good. I was worried. By day 8, things took a turn. Jason, exhausted, decided to reward both of them with a cheat day. He presented a small, greasy earth delicacy with a flourish. This is pizza. Zarkala inspected it. Is it sentient? No. But it'll ruin your abs and feed your soul. She sniffed it, sniffed again, then took a bite, and froze. Her eyes widened, and for a moment, Jason swore he saw transcendence. She whispered, "This is the greatest invention in your civilization. We also made podcasts. This is better." They ate in silence, interrupted only when Zarkala tossed her war helmet aside and sighed like a satisfied volcano. Jason chuckled. You okay? I am, full. It is unfamiliar. Welcome to humanity. Now you're 70% regret and cheese. Zarkala stared at him. You joke too much. I know. It's because I'm scared all the time. She considered that. You hide it well. They looked at each other. A strange stillness passed. Then she broke wind with the force of a sonic boom. Jason toppled off the bench. She blinked. Was that a weakness? He groaned from the floor. No. That was strength I didn't know you had. Day 10 arrived with the arrival of a guest. Prince Krothar of the Burning Nebula, Zarkala's longtime political rival, stormed into the gym in a cape made entirely of shrieking space foxes. Zarkala, he bellowed. You dare humiliate our legacy with squats? She stood calmly, doing overhead presses. I am evolving. He scoffed. You are degenerating. This human has cursed you. Jason waved. Hi. Jay. Nice foxes. Krothar drew his blade. Fight me, human. Zarkala stepped between them. You are not worthy of battle. I am your equal. You are not equal to my barbell. Jason leaned in. Burn. Zarkala continued lifting. Leave. Or I shall flex you into stardust. Krothar hesitated, mumbled something about improper protein intake, and fled. Jason watched him go. Well. That was a surprise. Zarkala didn't speak. She just kept lifting. But her posture shifted, just slightly. Her chest lifted. Her shoulders softened. And her eyes, usually filled with planetary rage, flickered with something else. Confidence. Or worse, peace. Jason handed her a towel. You're making progress. She didn't say anything. But she didn't throw it back at him either. And that, in alien queen language, was basically a hug. On day 21, the queen discovered push-ups. It did not go well. You wish me to lower myself to the dirt, she growled, eyes burning like twin suns with social anxiety. Jason clapped his hands. Exactly. Face the floor. Lower with control. Push up. I command empires to kneel. I do not. Jason nodded. Cool. Let's call these empire pushdowns if that helps your ego. Zarkala stared at the mat like it had insulted her ancestors. He knelt beside her. Look, it's not about weakness. It's about building strength through struggle. Plus, chest gains. She grunted, dropped to the floor, and immediately crushed the training mat into a tortilla. Jason blinked. Okay. Technically correct, but maybe with less planetary compression. She attempted another. The floor cracked. A tile sparked. I am pushing the world away, she bellowed. Jason held up a mirror. And it's pushing back. Later, during cooldown, she sulked on a vibrating foam roller. I do not sulk, she hissed. You're face down making volcano noises and sighing. That's textbook sulk. Zarkala turned her head dramatically. Why do humans do this? Push. Burn. Pant. Jason shrugged. Because therapy is expensive. She blinked. So you destroy yourselves, for balance. Some people do yoga. Some wrestle their emotions with barbells. She mulled that over. You are odd. And yet you keep showing up. Her silence was neither confirmation nor denial. But she did ask, what is next? Jason smirked. Burpees. She incinerated a chair. Day 24 brought their first mission together, sort of. An escaped alien beast called a Throndix had entered the training dome. 8 legs, 4 fangs, 0 chill. It was last seen devouring a vending machine. Jason ducked behind a bench. Why does your gym have these things? Zarkala unsheathed her axe. For morale. That thing is 12 feet tall and hissing at the dumbbells. It is misunderstood. The Throndix spotted them and screamed in ancient rage. Jason whimpered. I am also misunderstood. Let's be friends. Zarkala stepped forward. Allow me to handle this. She didn't attack. She didn't even roar. She simply raised a protein bar and said, sit. To everyone's confusion, including the beasts, the Throndix sat. Jason's jaw dropped. Did you just dog whisper a space monster? Zarkala tossed the protein bar into its jaws. It is not always strength that leads. Sometimes, one must lead with snacks. Jason looked at her in disbelief. You're turning into a personal growth quote poster. She ignored him and petted the beast's snout. Jason muttered, I've lost my job to an alien queen with better motivational skills. Day 27, 5 a.m., disaster. Jason arrived to find the gym locked, alarms blaring, and 3 royal guards passed out in yoga poses. Inside, the entire leg press station had been remodeled into what looked like a throne. And there she sat. Zarkala. Wearing a sweatband. I could not sleep, she said. So you redecorated the squat rack into your living room? I find peace here. Jason stepped in carefully. Have you been working out all night? I have been pondering. About trust. About control. Jason squinted. Is this your version of crying in the shower? I do not cry. I perspire, emotionally. Jason sat on a kettlebell. Talk to me. She hesitated. Why do you trust me? He blinked. You haven't killed me yet. That's a pretty strong foundation. I could. At any moment. He smiled. Exactly. And you don't. She looked away. Jason added, people think strength is about showing no weakness. But real strength is, showing up. And letting someone see you. There was silence. Then she muttered, this is stupid. Deeply. But, true. He stood up. Come on. Let's channel that into deadlifts. She rose slowly, eyes still lost in thought. Day 30. A milestone. Jason had arranged a surprise, a party, of sorts. Protein shakes, glowing balloons, a cake made from compressed carbs and sorrow. Zarkala entered suspiciously. Is this an ambush? No. It's a celebration. 1/3 complete. She stared. You mark time with cake. On Earth, yes. Also trauma and memes. She approached the cake and poked it. It does not look edible. That's how you know it's good for you. She took a bite. Her eyes watered. This is horrifying. Jason smiled. And yet you'll eat more. I despise it. You love it. She ate the entire thing. Later that night, under the glow of binary moons, they sat outside the dome. Jason handed her a towel. She didn't throw it. He asked, "Do you ever wonder what happens after all this?" She didn't answer right away. Then, softly, "I wonder what it means, to not rule. To just exist." Jason nodded. Scary thought. Terrifying. Good. That means it's worth exploring. She looked at him. And for the first time, there was no fire in her eyes, just quiet. Then she ruined it by saying, "Your shirt smells like cowardice." He smiled. Yeah. I'm emotionally vulnerable. Deal with it. She didn't smile back. But she didn't insult him either. And in Queen Zerkala terms, that was basically a marriage proposal. Day 51 began with an explosion. Jason bolted upright from his cot, blanket tangled, mouth dry, heart doing parkour. Was that the protein blender again? No, said a royal guard running past him, aflame. That was her emotion. Jason rubbed his eyes. Oh great. She's feeling again. Inside the dome, Queen Zerkala stood at the center of a smoldering crater, surrounded by shards of what used to be a squat rack. I am fine, she growled. You just exploded a 400-pound steel frame with your vibe, Jason said, approaching cautiously. That's the emotional equivalent of throwing a tantrum through a black hole. She glared. I attempted the superset of the soul. It betrayed me. Jason pinched the bridge of his nose. We talked about going easy on leg day. I do not go easy. I go obliterate. You're not supposed to obliterate your hamstrings. I missed a rep. Oh no, Jason gasped. Call the Galactic Senate. She crossed her arms. You mock my pain. I mock everything. It's how I survive training a woman who can bench press battleships and gets moody when her form slips. She turned away. Today is cursed. Jason hesitated. Talk to me. Silence. Zara. Still nothing. Jason sighed. Fine. We're doing yoga until you cry or fart. Whichever comes first. They did not cry. But at minute 14, during pigeon pose, Zerkala let out a sound that echoed across 3 time zones. Jason blinked. That was the sound of growth. And possibly internal combustion. She rose slowly, stretched, and muttered, I feel deflated. Jason smiled. That's just humility, peeking in like a confused ferret. I hate it. That's progress. She stared at him, deadpan. You're very bad at motivation. I specialize in emotional sabotage. Also smoothies. He handed her one. She drank it in a single gulp. It tastes like regret, she muttered. Banana flax, he corrected. Day 55 arrived with something worse than emotional turbulence, visitors. A council of royal advisors had landed unannounced. 7 towering figures in ceremonial armor, looking like angry chandeliers with capes, inspected the gym with disapproval. Your Majesty, hissed one, the galaxy whispers. They say you smile. You high-five. You do, planks. Zerkala remained silent. Another advisor narrowed his 4 eyes. And this human? What is he to you? Jason raised a hand. I'm the designated snack guy. Zarkala finally spoke. He is my trainer. Trainer of what? Feelings. Of discipline. Of strength. Of restraint. The council gasped as one, which caused a minor thunderstorm. Zarkala stepped forward. You fear my change. But change is the only true conquest. Jason muttered, did you rehearse that? I journal now, she whispered. The council departed in a huff, threatening exile, execution, and, most horrifyingly, a surprise audit. Jason exhaled. Well, that was cozy. Zarkala didn't answer. She was staring at her own reflection in the mirror. Not admiring. Not judging. Just, wondering. Day 60 brought Jason's worst nightmare, group training. Zarkala had invited 3 elite alien warriors to spar. Jason called them the Crunch Brothers. All flex, no neck. You sure you're ready for this? Jason asked as she stretched one arm and split a boulder by accident. They question my resolve. Well, to be fair, one of them just asked if your glutes were made from artificial moons. Zarkala narrowed her eyes. The match began. 10 seconds in, she had the first one pinned under a dumbbell bench. 15 seconds later, the second was knocked unconscious by a flying resistance band. The third begged for mercy before the warm-up ended. Jason approached as she stood triumphant over the wreckage. That was impressive. She looked at him, eyes wild. I did not vaporize them. You only dislocated 2 shoulders. That's a huge step. She panted, glowing faintly, muscles twitching. I held back. Jason handed her a towel. And the universe thanks you. That night, they sat again under the stars. Jason had brought marshmallows. Zarkala thought they were squid eggs and roasted 10 at once with her eyes. You've changed, Jason said softly. I feel it, she admitted. Scary. She hesitated. I once crushed the moon of Kovar for blinking at me. Now I enjoy stretching. Yeah, Jason nodded. Next thing you know, you'll be doing trust falls and crying at commercials. She turned to him. I fear. I am becoming soft. He smirked. You're not soft. You're just real. She tilted her head. You speak like a bard. I speak like a man who's too tired to be scared of you anymore. There was a pause. Then she reached into her armor and pulled out a necklace. It glowed faintly, alien metals and woven crystal strands. For you, she said. Jason blinked. What's it do? It monitors your heart rate, temperature, and reproductive viability. He swallowed. That's romantic. In my culture, it means I haven't killed you, and I might not want to. Jason took it gently. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. By day 66, Jason noticed something strange. Zarkala had stopped yelling at the equipment. She now asked questions. Why do humans stretch the spine? What is the point of rest day if it causes guilt? Is soreness a sign of failure or growth? Jason answered them all. Patiently. Proudly. And one day, as she nailed a perfect handstand and grinned upside down, Jason felt something shift. Not in her. In him. Because for the first time, he was training not just a queen, but a friend. A very tall, terrifying, surprisingly thoughtful friend. With laser eyes and a confusing necklace. And maybe, just maybe, something more. Day 100. The galaxy watched. Literally. There were drones. Broadcasts. A 7-hour pre-show hosted by a telepathic iguana in a sequin vest. Queen Zarkala's final combat trial was about to begin. At the center of the dome stood a shifting arena made of obsidian tiles, each representing a battlefield she'd once conquered. Hovering above, a ceremonial crown floated inside a glass sphere. The challenge was simple: defeat the gauntlet, claim the crown, and prove to the universe she was still worthy to rule. There was just one twist. "You want me to fight you?" Jason blinked, holding a plastic training stick. Zarkala stood opposite him, armored in polished steel and purpose. "You are my final test." I was thinking more, inspirational speech. Maybe a high five? Definitely not combat. She stepped forward, gently tapping his chest. "You have changed me. But I must know, have I grown soft?" Jason glanced around. "You're wearing a flamethrower skirt and staring like you're about to eat me." "So, no. Still terrifying." "I need this," she said. "To know if restraint is weakness or strength disguised." Jason exhaled. "All right. But I'm using the foam sword with the glitter unicorn sticker." The match began with a gong so loud 3 judges passed out. Jason sidestepped a plasma spear, dodged a flying weight bench, and accidentally headbutted the ceremonial banner. Zarkala lunged. Jason yelped. He rolled under her strike, swung his foam sword, and bopped her helmet with an unthreatening bonk. The crowd gasped. Zarkala froze. Jason froze. Then she laughed. Not a war cry. Not a snarl. A laugh. And the dome shook from it. She removed her helmet, eyes glowing with amusement. "You hit me." Jason grinned. "I bonked the universe's deadliest woman with a unicorn stick." Life peaked. She stepped back. "I yield." The crowd lost its collective mind. Drones did somersaults. The telepathic iguana fainted into a punch bowl. Jason blinked. "Wait. Was this?" "My final lesson," she said. "Strength is not in dominance, but in balance." Jason pointed to himself. "So I'm your balance." She nodded once. He looked down at the foam sword. So embarrassing and profound at the same time. Later, during the ceremony, Zarkala stood before her people, not in full armor, but in a ceremonial cloak stitched with the symbols of every exercise she'd mastered: burpees, kettlebells, emotional vulnerability. Jason stood beside her, holding a smoothie tray. She raised a hand. "For centuries, I ruled with fire and fear. But now, I have learned to rule with control, with curiosity, and carbs." The crowd cheered. The smoothie tray burst into flame spontaneously. Jason stepped aside. She turned to him. "You have trained me. Now, I offer something in return." From beneath her cloak, she drew a ring, made from the crushed remains of her old throne. Jason squinted. "Wait, is that a—" "In my culture," she said solemnly, "this means, I will not kill you. And I might make space in my calendar, for us." Jason looked around. "You know Earth has dating apps, right?" "I already downloaded 4, she said. "I deleted them." He took the ring. There was silence. Then Zarkala turned to the crowd and roared, "This human has survived me. He is mine now." Jason gave a thumbs up. So romantic. Back on Earth, 1 month later, Jason opened a new gym. Zarkala called it Sweat and Conquer. It offered kettlebell classes, deep space hit, and therapeutic roaring on Tuesdays. Zarkala taught the advanced courses. Her students cried, then improved dramatically. Jason handled the front desk and smoothie station. Business boomed. But one day, an Earth News anchor interviewed him. "So, Mr. Tucker, what's it like training the most powerful woman in the galaxy?" Jason paused, smiled, and said, "Exhausting. Hilarious. Kind of life-threatening. And, worth it?" Jason looked toward the back, where Zarkala was bench-pressing a hover car while yelling affirmations. He nodded. Every single day. That night, they sat under Earth's stars, no ceremony, no fire, no glowing drones. Just silence. Zarkala broke it. You never feared me. I did, Jason said. I still do. But now I'm also weirdly proud of you. She smirked. You taught me more than war ever did. Yeah, I'm kind of great. And humble. Very. They sat there. No battles. No armor. Just two people, scarred and strong, finding something stranger than power. Peace. And maybe, just maybe, a happily ever after that neither of them expected. Especially not the part with matching tracksuits. But that's another story.